Hello, hello. I'm super excited that you guys have joined me today. I am here today with Erica Wiederlight, and she is a specialist in burnout. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wait a second, there's a specialist in this? I know. And here we are today to uncover and unpack some of the simple solutions that we can try in our own businesses.
Yeah, hi. I'm so excited to be here. This is going to be a really special and needed conversation for everybody.
What are some everyday tasks or everyday behaviors that we could do that would keep us from reaching burnout?
Yes, okay. I have to go in this direction quickly because it's a big part of my work and I do this so I have to do it and I think it's important. And I teach it with my one-on-one clients. I was telling you earlier before we recorded, I work at this amazing company. We'll talk about that later. Zant, they're a mental health app. They're fabulous. And I work with their team as well to move through burnout, and what we do in those spaces is pleasure. And you're going to be like, Erica, what are you talking about? Pleasure? I don't have time for pleasure. I'm in burnout. And pleasure, by the way, is things like really enjoying your water. It's the five senses, really being present to that kombucha that you're drinking. Or as you're driving, can you really hear the violin in that song? Why it's so important is it teaches the body and the brain that we're safe to slow down. Sometimes when we're in burnout, we don't feel safe to slow down, because we're so used to keep going, keep going, keep going. So the pleasure teaches, like I said, the brain, the body, okay, it's safe to slow down. And not only can I slow down, I can enjoy this. We can jump right back in to chaos, we could jump right back in. But what would it be like? I know before we came on today, I always try to be cognizant of pleasure. So I did something so silly. I lighted a candle. Something silly. It doesn't have to be anything wild, but that's also 1% more. Or maybe we're using the driving example, let's tap into our senses. So what do I see? Oh, wow, I really love that tree. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous as it changes color through the fall. Beautiful. Or I'm working and in the background, I hear such a beautiful song. Or that was such a sweet thing that person said to someone. Or, oh, I actually don't like my shirt, the texture of my shirt on my body. It sounds so silly. It sounds so trivial, but it's so important within the burnout. It is a crucial piece of working through burnout. And again, for me, it also made me feel worthy. It made me feel safe because I was like, okay, if I could have pleasure, I'm worthy enough. I'm safe enough to get out of burnout. And really quickly, I do want to speak to that. I know for me, a lot of times when I got into burnout spells, it was situational, right? Just like a lot going on. And underneath a lot, for me, just for me, there was a worthiness component. So I didn't feel worthy. I had a scarcity thing going on, and that was real. But I didn't feel worthy. I felt like I have to keep, blood, sweat, and tears. That's the way that I'm worthy is. If I'm productive, if I have these achievements equals worth. And what pleasure did from a body-brain perspective is it undid all of that. It was like, you're worthy because you're here. Like, you don't need to do A, B, and C to be worthy. And it taught me I am worthy to slow down. I don't need to write 65 lists or do 105 things at once. Like, I'm worthy right now. And it helped teach me that. So I know that's a little bit of a sidebar, but I think that's really important to note because that's a really big way that I help folks. Like I said, I do it with the Zant team. We work through pleasure to help heal some of the burnout. And I could talk more about that if you have more specific questions, but I was like, I have to bring this up. I have to bring this part up.
Well, I'm glad you did because there's an overarching situation with house cleaners, and I don't know where it came from. I found myself guilty of it as well as about 90% of the house cleaners that I've worked with over the years, and it has been a lot.
Yeah.
We're people pleasers.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a result of being a people pleaser, instead of us seeking pleasure, we want pleasure for everyone else. We go into people's homes. We want to make their home better. We see something and we're like, hey, I can do this and I can contribute. And so we give until we are burned out. And sometimes there's even a regret that comes with that. And there is an I'm not worthy as much as there is I want this for someone else and they are worthy and I want to be able to give that to them. So we just give. And I think it's really important what you just said about I am worthy and I deserve that.
Yes.
I think along with that comes boundaries. And so can you share with us a little bit about how creating boundaries can help us not only recover from burnout, but also reach burnout in the first place?
I'm so glad you brought that up. And especially in this profession, right? it's from a giving place. And you have the magic where you're like, I can create safety in someone's home. I can create beauty. I can create healing. Like it comes from such a giving, loving perspective. And that's what everyone's magic that's here today. That's one of your gifts is that you
Mm.
create safety, you create safe spaces. Like you have that magic. And the great news is we're just going to learn how we can also give that back to ourselves. So boundaries is huge. Before we jump into that, I do want to note you nailed something so beautifully with the giving. Expert givers. So we need to learn how to receive. And it's
Mm.
like, oh gosh, like so much comes up about that. And we pride ourselves on being givers. I don't know about you, but a lot of folks pride themselves on, I'm a really good giver. So we're not going to take that away. That's a great muscle. We love it. We're going to keep it strong. I just want us to like add receiving. Here's a simple tool that that I teach my clients is when someone gives you a compliment, right? I notice when people say, oh, I love your outfit. The impulse is to deflect and be like, no, 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 I got it on sale on TJ Maxx. It's nothing. It's like, wait, what? Like, wait, hold on. Like, wait. So my suggestion is when you get the compliment, even though it's very uncomfortable, because sometimes we want to push it right back, like, you look amazing too. They may look amazing too. We could tell them in a moment, but like, can we beat, like literally just wait a moment and say thank you? And we can eventually say, and I love, if that's truthful to you, I love this, but often I see people that are excellent givers push right back on a compliment or push right back on a gift. So I want us just to be mindful of compliments, especially that we're in the holiday season. How do we feel when we receive a gift? Sometimes it's like, ooh, did I not get enough? Was I worthy of this? I just want us to start to track our thoughts when we receive, whether it be a gift, a compliment, a tip. You go to a restaurant and someone throws in a chocolate cake and being like, no, 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 I feel bad. I just want us to start to track. So before we go to boundaries, I was like, I have to mention this, the tracking how we receive.
I'm glad you brought that up because while I was cleaning houses, I was also at a place of scarcity as I got my business off the ground.
Yeah.
And I was trying to understand and appreciate abundance. And I was not in a place where I could receive. And so every time abundance would come into my life, I would push it away, not realize I was sabotaging my own success. But I would say, no, 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 like I don't deserve it. I want someone else to have the goodness. And one of the mentors that I had said, I want for the next 30 days, I want you to say yes and accept everything that is offered you. Whether you want it or not is completely irrelevant. Whether you need it or not is completely irrelevant. I just want you to learn how to accept. And I
Yeah.
said, I could do that. And I could not. It was the weirdest thing I'd ever been through.
Yeah.
So, like at a customer's house, and they're like, hey, I'm making a tomato sandwich. Do you want one? I'm like, yes, I would. Thank you. And I didn't
Yes.
really want a tomato sandwich, but I was going to accept for 30 days. So she's like, awesome. And she felt special because then she could make me a sandwich as well. And then she's like, stop working for a second. We'll have a sandwich. And that is not what I teach. You do not stop and chitty chat with the customers. You keep working and do your job. But for these 30 days, I sat down and I had a sandwich with her. Then there was another customer that's like, hey, I'm cleaning out my closet. Do you want all of these men's t-shirts? No. And then I was like, yes, I do. And I'm like, what am I going to do with them? I don't know. I gave them to the Goodwill on my way home, but I'm like, yes, I will take them. And then it was so weird because it was like it opened the floodgates. All of a sudden, a whole bunch of stuff started coming to me, and I found myself saying yes over all the things. And I would then get strategic about, like, well, I'll drop these off at the Goodwill on my way home. Or wait a second, I just met somebody that just gave me something and I don't need it, but you do. Let me give it to you. And I was regifting stuff as quickly as it came in my life. But what I discovered was this: in the process of stuff coming to me and me accepting it, what I did is I opened that flow and
Mm.
it started flowing through me. And then I said, well, wait a second, there's an abundance all around me.
Yeah.
And if I'm just the conduit, I don't have to be the recipient. It can come through me. And now I have more to give.
Yes.
And so then I started just saying, sure, bring it on. And then if you have anything else you want to give me, I'll take that too. And then I started learning to ask and receive. And I'm glad you brought that up because that is so huge.
Yeah.
Where oftentimes we're like, no, 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 I don't need it or I don't want it or someone else can use it more than I can.
Right.
And then we end up blocking that flow that comes through us that then we can pass on to someone else.
Yeah, I have to say this. I know you brought up the boundaries, which is so good, but this is big too, is I teach my clients, like I've talked about, clients, workshops, all the things, is holding good things.
Mm.
It sounds crazy, right? Because we all have the vision, especially this time of year. It's like, next year, I want to make this much money. I want to travel, which is so beautiful. Like, that shows our desires. And sometimes it's really overwhelming, like you said, when you get those things. And so what's crazy is, I know I'm bringing it back up, but what's so important about the pleasure work is it teaches us it's safe to hold good things. So I wanted to just highlight that this work is so important, because we're rewiring our brain and our body that I'm worthy to have goodness. I can hold
Mhm.
goodness. Because sometimes, like you said, we could have all the dreams and someone gives it to us. It's like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. What do I do with this? How do I hold this? And so that way, even if you just enjoy that kombucha, even that way, if you just enjoy that sound, it teaches us, oh, I can hold good things. And it's not a catastrophe, right? And then we start to stack, okay, I can hold that raise. I can hold that tip. I can hold that compliment, So I just wanted to bridge, if it was like, Erica, what is this pleasure stuff? I wanted to bridge, the pleasure is so important in the holding goodness. I love this conversation. There's so much more to talk about. As we talked about before, you can find me on my website, which is wethelight.org. You can hit me an email, keep the conversation going, because you've really created such a special space and we all need to be held in this. So thank you for having me. I'm just so jazzed that we can continue this conversation off of this platform. So thank you.